Hey programmers, and welcome back to grandMA3 for grandMA2 programmers. Today is all about 3D. The biggest change is obviously that it's now integrated into the grandMA3 software. Of course, if your show files environment is really big and complex, then use a second computer that was built for rendering. The grandMA3 console can do a lot, but it really wasn't designed to be doing the heavy lifting of real-time rendering. With that caveat out of the way, let's get into the window to see how it's changed. I've already got a camera pool with the basic cameras here. Now I'm going to add a 3D window from the Common tab. One of the fundamental changes in grandMA3 is that we're always looking at one of our stages. Remember from the patch that all of our fixtures live within a stage. Maybe you have multiple stages, or maybe everything's just in a single stage. One of the things that we can edit on our stage inside the patch is our surfaces. In the Stages tab, find your stage and click Edit. Here you can change the size and appearance of your stage space and your surfaces. If you aren't seeing your rig in 3D, first check the stage option up at the top right and make sure that you're in the right stage. Next to stage, we have our camera options that allow us to pick a different viewpoint and our mode toggle that can put us into setup. There's also some rendering quality shortcuts like beam and body quality. And I'll show in the settings window where there are even more options for rendering. Still at the top though, another option is labels, which allow you to show fixture information like the fixture number in 3D, whether it's on the body of the fixture or on its output. That's another option with more possibilities in the Windows settings. Selection mode allows you to toggle from linear to a grid to change your selection order when you lasso a grid of units. The TouchMode Toolbar on the left gives us viewpoint and follow options. At the top, the first button is a zoom to fit shortcut, showing us the entire stage. So we've just zoomed way out, but we can reset back to the settings of our front camera by clicking this Reload Camera button. This is a departure from MA2, where if we zoomed or moved around, those changes would be stored in whatever camera we had selected. In MA3, those changes we make aren't stored unless we specifically store these updates to the camera or create a new camera. The arrow puts us in select mode, so I can lasso a group of fixtures or items to work with. And the follow mode, much like MA2, allows me to pick a place on the stage to focus the selected lights to. The last few options relate back to our camera. The move mode is so that I can move my camera viewpoint around. Orbit is also just like we remember it, changing the angle of our viewpoint. And of course we have zoom. The next two buttons work together, pivot and pivot point. If you want to rotate your view around a specific object, make that your pivot point, then use the pivot tool to rotate. The last option is zoom to selection. I'm going to reset, and now let's take a look at the settings by clicking MA. Under the 3D Settings tab in Rendering, a lot of these options are exactly what we found in our MA2 3D system. So here's our beam and spot opacities, along with our quality options. If you were looking for something like point light or ambience, that's here along with their color options. In the Miscellaneous tab, we can toggle on and off a few options based on what we want to see. Most are self-explanatory, but this one here called 3D Priority is something you'd want to toggle on if this was a computer that was dedicated as a visualizer. Since MA3D is part of the MA3 OS now, turning this on sets processing priority to the rendering and takes it away from console duties. So this would be great on a dedicated visualizer machine, but detrimental on a console. And if you're nostalgic for the grandMA2 stage window, you can set this to wireframe. In the Label tab, you can pick what's included in the labels. There's alpha levels for background and text, font options, and an option called Selection Only, so that the labels are only shown on units that you have selected in the programmer. If you have a large rig, this might be nice to turn on. Under Quality, there are options to lower the render resolution. Lowering these will result in a blockier render, but will increase your frames per second. If you remember from our patching tutorial, we added a few Super Sharpies into the demo show file, but they don't have a real home in our 3D stage yet. So let me select them first. In 3D, they're all sitting dead center, which is underneath our stage. At the top right, change the mode to setup so we can move them. On our encoders, we still have X, Y, and Z position and rotation, and they'll work just like they did on MA2. I want to flip the units because they're going to be floor units, so I'll click on X rotation and type in 180. They're all existing in the same space, so let's spread them out. I'm clicking Align to put us into the second mode of Align, which actually corresponds to the first mode of Align on the grandMA2. The first mode of Align in grandMA3 is new and would spread us out left and right, but it just isn't exactly what I want here. But now, of course, I've just created a tripping hazard with these lights, so let's change our minds and say that we want these to live on the sides of the stage. I'm going to use a grid arrangement for that. Click on Function to swap to Arrangement, and this will change what our encoder wheels do. To the right, we can pick an arrangement like lines, grids, or circles, and you can see that with each option, our encoder wheels change. Let's leave it on Grid. You'll see a preview of our settings in magenta. Let's do 2 columns with 4 rows because I want half on stage right and half on stage left. I'm going to recenter. Then I'm going to change the column interval to put some space between them. But I don't like this selection order that's jumping from right to left. I want to change the direction to first Y then X. I like the row order to be down up and the column order left right. Okay, I like it. Let's hit apply. Next, let's talk about our 3D objects that aren't fixtures. For example, our truss. In grandMA3D, if you want to add in an object like this, we now do that through the patch. In the demo show, you can see our trusses here at the top, and there's position and scale information here as well. Something I like to do is to give these objects a fixture number because that makes selecting them easier for me. Back in 3D, I'm selecting 2 of these trusses, and I can change their position and rotation here. When you want to add new 3D objects to your show, look in the manufacturer set. Next time, we're moving into layouts. Thanks for watching.